Hey, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all the social media networks that you guys have followed me on and do follow me, okay? So the title that I called this video was Some Thoughts Coming into 2019, because 2018 was a heck of a year, right? Let's all give ourselves a hand of applause for really doing 2018 till the very end, because man, was that a year, right? But you know what? We're here today, okay? And if you're watching this video, you survived. You survived 2018, okay? So, back in 2018, okay, I weathered some storms, and I picked some battles, some that I should have picked, some that I should not have picked. But at the end of the day, okay, I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, okay? I was confirmed years ago, okay? And being confirmed basically means that you have admitted that Jesus Christ is indeed your Savior, okay? I wear a pendant, okay? This pendant is St. Michael, okay? Now, I tell you that because that's going to be relevant in some parts of this video, okay? Now, I apologize. This video is going to be somewhat spiritual and somewhat controversial if you don't believe and or believe in some of the things I'm about to explain, okay? You don't have to agree with me fully, and you don't have to agree with me on all the ideas I'm about to present to you, but I'm indeed presenting you some ideas that I think that you guys need to carry with you coming into 2019, okay? So, one of the things I need to get off my chest and off my mind going into 2019, okay? For those of you who don't know me or have been following me for the last couple months, okay? I did get a new job, okay? I work with a company called Swissport, okay? And I also get to fly with a company I work for, United, okay? United Airlines. And having had gone through a job change really got me mentally in the right direction. And one of the things I love to do is I love to travel, okay? And being that I love to travel, I'm 32 years old, okay? And I don't want to get older and not experience what God has given to all of us, okay? You know, us believers, you know, that really harness His power, okay? So now, with that being said, what I'd like to mention to you guys is that when you get to a point in life and you want more steps, you want a bigger step, okay? You want to see what there is outside of your comfort level, okay? So you're going to use that word again and again and again, your comfort level, something that you're used to, but you're not really willing to go out of because it's not normal, it's not secure, it's not ideal, it's not relaxing for you, okay? It's your comfort. It's like a comfort. It's like a blanket, okay? You wrap yourself with comfort because you don't have to think about nothing bad. It's all good, 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 and good, okay, right? Okay, when you go to bed, what do? You wrap yourself in a blanket to make you feel warm, comfy at home, okay? If you didn't have a blanket, what would you be doing? You'd be running around the house trying to find that blanket, right? Because you're not used to not having a blanket. There you go. It's your comfort. So, when things don't go right in life, you start looking for your comfort blankets, okay? And one thing that 2018 taught me is it's time to start jumping out of or releasing yourself with wings, okay? Out of your comfort level. There's so much more to life than just what you see, just what you're used to, just what you've gone through day in and day out, and this and that, and what have you, okay? And I'd also like to say that you have to get there by challenging life just a little bit, okay? Not a whole lot, just a little bit, right? Enough to want to make it walk out, okay? But it's up to you to save it, okay? So that's really what we're going to talk about here today. Now, not all battles, I'm going to do a spoiler right now. Not all battles are going to be winnable, but all battles will be fightable until you have understood that that battle is a lesson for a blessing, okay? The battle will be a lesson to bring you a blessing, okay? And you guys can't take that because I'm going to be coining that phrase myself. That's mine. Don't be taking it now, okay? So we're going to go ahead and go through a few points here. And one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to reference this book, Think, Act, Believe, like Jesus, okay? Now, we're not going to use, all the Bible verses and whatnot, because that's not what this video is about. This video is about some lessons that I've learned that I'd like to share with you so that your life going into 2019 is going to be very blessing and very extraordinary and very extravagant and wonderful and awesome, okay? Now, that don't mean that you will not have bad things, but it's going to open your eyes. Like, when you're in the dark and you shine light through your eyes, it's going to go small and real big, okay? Now, don't do that to your friends. I know what you're going to do. You're going to try that little trick, and you're going to blame me for it, okay? But I will let you know, being an EMS and a fireman myself, that is a true fact. Pupils, your eyes, do react to light differently, okay? It's a response that your brain and your mind and your body provides to show you and to let you know and interpret a situation that you're going through, okay? In an immediate realm of what's going on, okay? So, my first point, okay, that I'd like to say, there's going to be times that you're going to feel a moment. You're going to feel like something is tugging you, okay? Like a knot, all right? Like a string, okay? And having had been that string, it's going to try to tug at you from different times in different parts of your body, okay? But the parts that's going to try to pull from the most, you guessed it, the heart, okay? Or, yeah, this side. I almost forgot which side it was on. It's on this side, okay? It's always on your left, or what you're looking at, which would be the right side, okay, I think. So, it's not to tell you you're going to fail, okay? Granted, you're not going to succeed in 100% of all those times that your mind is trying to provide you a message as an intuition, okay? You ever been exposed to that whole phrase, trust your gut, okay? It's an intuition as to what it's trying to tell you, okay? Well, that indeed is completely true, all right? Now, if you don't believe me, try to ignore your intuition. Try to disbelieve what your intuition is telling you, okay? But try to persuade your intuition from engaging in you in a complete and full circle, okay? And see what happens. Your intuition is going to try to stop that or try to, cut that action or that motion that you're trying to go for, It's like, hold down, big boy. Just don't look right to me. Sit down, think about it for a little bit, okay? And if your intuition is off, you might want to put your awares, your guard, your wall, what have you, up just a little bit, because things might come over the wall, come through the wall, come around the wall, come in the door from your wall. I mean, hello, sometimes you're like, are you home? So, trust your intuition, okay? And when I say that, all right, your intuition can also be a benefit to you, all right? For those of you who haven't known me since 2000, well, 2000, okay? Let's go back to the year 2000, all right? Prior to 2001 and all that stuff, okay? I was a Romeo. I've always been a Romeo, all right? Even in high school, middle school, and what have you. But sometimes I didn't understand what being a Romeo was, okay? And I didn't understand what love was all about. I didn't understand what being connected with somebody is all about, you know? I don't mean physically. I mean in a emotional and well-being sort of state, okay? Like, you just know what's going on with them. They just know what's going on with you. You're connected. You're like a plug and another plug. You guys are just together. You got to pull them apart really hard for it to come apart, right? And you got to pull that little stupid tab, make sure it unlocks first, then you can pull them apart, right? Otherwise, it's just a simple strand of wire. You don't want that. You'll get to a point in life and in relationships, okay, where you'll say, nah, it's too early, nah, it's way too late, nah, I shouldn't do this, or nah, if I do this, I'll, screw up, okay? That's your gut telling you something, okay? If you hesitate, if you stumble, if you stop in your tracks and you process what you're saying to yourself and you're thinking about it mentally, believe it or not, that is your intuition working on you at that current moment, okay? Now, if you're a believer of Jesus Christ, I hate to say this to you guys, but that is the Spirit, the Holy Spirit talking to you, okay? You can hold it and harness it and keep it with you, and then try to understand what it's telling you, okay? And it will point you in the right direction if you listen to it properly. It may not point you in the right direction at that moment, but you gotta listen to it first, all right? It's guiding you, but follow it, okay? It's like the Quidditch. You gotta follow it. It's not gonna stop and let you catch it, but you gotta keep following it and watch where it stops. And the moment where you're meant to catch it will be the glorious moment you ever had. I promise. Okay? And I used to think that the word love was a very heavy word, okay? Now, some of you guys are going to stop me in my tracks saying, well, Sean, it actually is. It's a very heavy word. Don't throw it around lightly. Don't disrespect that word, okay? That's not why I say that, okay? Because love is a very strong word. Love should be used almost like a technician is, trying to make sure you don't get electrocuted, but trying to fix a wire that's not connected properly in a circuit that he has no idea what's going on with that whole circuit. Doesn't know where it goes to, doesn't know where it stops, if it's powered, not powered, whatnot. Okay? And I used to say, I love you, and because I think that is the right time to say it, and I think this is the part where I should say it, okay? But this last year, okay, if something feels right, I mean completely and truthfully right, man, my whole body is just overwhelmed with transformation. What am I doing? That's the moment that I'm telling you guys. If it feels right, if you think it is right, go for it, all right? You're either going to have a lesson or it's going to be your blessing, okay? So if it feels right, do it, okay? Because it will go good both ways. Whether it is a bad situation, it will show you a good outcome. And if it is your good outcome, well, it's going to be your blessing. And you'll have a wonderful life, right? Okay, so that's one of my points I learned last year is, and I'm still learning it today, if it just feels right, don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry if it's the right time, if it's the right moment. Just do it. all right? You know, that goes for, you know, wanting to have kids, wanting to grow up, wanting to get your own house, wanting to get that new car, wanting to go travel, wanting to explore, you know, wanting to say I love you, wanting to kiss, wanting to make intimate relation between you and another partner, okay? The connection, it's a great connection, but if it feels right, if it is right, it's gonna be wonderful. But the minute you hesitate and you disregard your intuition and spirits and your spiritual well-being, that's the point you need to be worried about and concerned about. Because if you listen and you agree and you focus and harbor that well-being and that intuition and use it for your own, and not really your own, but for their good too, it's going to be absolutely impressively, you know, the best feeling in the world, all right? I basically kind of mentioned this one here. Not gonna lie, I'm reading my notes here as I'm talking to you guys, so I don't really go off on all these really weird stories, okay? So you guys gotta focus with me, but I'm doing my best. It's gonna be a long video, and I'm doing this live, as you can tell in the video, okay? So the second point I'm gonna make here that I've learned, that I want you guys to learn too, all right? Battles we fight can be winnable if we pick the right team, okay? And that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for some of you guys, all right? You need to listen to me right now so you don't get hurt later on down the road. There will be some battles that you will lose, okay? If you keep this mentality thinking, I will never lose a battle, I will never lose a fight, you know, you got to keep inflating your ego, you know, because you have a reputation, this thing, this idea that, you know, you're above everything else, that you gotta be this person, you're not gonna be winning very many battles, okay? You might win some battles. You might walk off and say, I won the war. The question is, did you win the war the proper way? I don't know. Sometimes I don't even think you did. Because I know myself, I didn't. I gotta be honest. I think the hardest pill to swallow was probably the end of last year, okay? And mentally, these battles that we're fighting can really do a torment on us, you know, and we still eternally will have to fight them sometimes, and it's very difficult to, you know? But if you fight a battle with just your ego, your body, and your mind, you're not winning that, okay? What do you need? You're going to need a few things. You're going to need a cleanse. You're going to need a border. You're going to need armor. You're going to need power. And you're going to need knowledge. Okay? Now that knowledge is going to come from your mind, your brain, okay? You can either find knowledge in a book, and one of the more stronger ways of gaining knowledge, okay, and this is for folks that follow Christianity, okay, and really believe Christianity in a whole, the Bible. That can be another great source of knowledge, okay? Doesn't always have to mean that you gotta follow every word, you gotta do everything it says, you gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta do this, gotta do that, and everything it says is true, okay? Because honestly, I don't know if it's true. I mean, I'm kind of ideally wanting to believe it's true because what's written in there, you know, it all makes sense. And that if it was written elsewise, it wouldn't fit right, you know. The stuff that's happened to me and happened to all of us just wouldn't fit according to this theory, this idea, okay? So, you gotta have knowledge, okay? You gotta have power, all right? If you just embark in life with fear, with scaredness, with trouble, and with worry, you won't get far in life. You know, I'm not saying that if you have power, you should abuse the privilege of you having a lot of it, all right? Because that'll get you also in some deep, deep, deep trouble. And you really don't want that, okay? So, by having had that power, you need to use it properly, all right? Stand on your own 2 feet. Stand on your ground. Stand on that mountain, all right? And reach for the sky. Don't reach for the sky because, you know, someone else told you to reach for that sky. So if you reach for it, you know, you succeeded, right? No. Reach for the sky because you know that's what you're supposed to do. Reach for the sky because there's something bigger up there. There's something better. You know, what if you're going day to day and there's something way better in those clouds? I mean, would you stop at just doing what you're doing each and every day? No. You'd want whatever's better, right? Let's be honest. When you go into work, you ever stop and say, no, I'm happy of making the money I have, the hours I've got, and the position I'm at? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't stop. You may not go in that pace, but you want to keep climbing, keep going, right? You want to keep achieving. It's the American dream. You know, you want to keep getting what's out there for you. You want that solitude, right? There's a good word for today, solitude. You know, that solid foundation in your inner self to make you whole, okay? And you can achieve that if you have the right team. One of the other things that you need, okay, is your team, all right? Now, if your team is built of people that you can depend on, your best friends, your family, your roommates, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, your wife, okay? If your team is composed of all those people, you know, you have a great team. But if they're just present and you don't know what you're doing with them, then they may be one of your not your greatest assets, okay? I don't know how to better put that, but you gotta utilize your team, and you gotta utilize your power, you gotta utilize your knowledge, all right? And any battle you come across, you will succeed in. Alright? Remember, I didn't say you'll win. I said you'll succeed. Okay? Because you can move forward by either defeating a problem or being exposed to your solution. Okay? So you'll either defeat a problem and continue being the same person, or you'll have been defeated but be exposed to your solution, that path, that direction that you need to be in. Okay? So, yeah. Battles that we fight are not always going to be winnable, but they will be achievable if you have the right team. Okay? And you can't just pick from a hat, say, all right, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you. Nah, yeah, give me you. Okay, yeah, you come here. I'll take you. All right? You got to sit there and list, you know, why these people are important to you. What made you draw them to you? Why do you keep going back to them? Why do they keep coming back to you? Because it's not just a one-way street. It's a two-way street here, right? So, the other point I want to make here, it goes along the lines of having your team and having your mind and having your knowledge, you know, your tools, you know, your books and, you know, the people, is when you get into a situation and you just want to scream, you want to argue, you want to let loose, you want to just enrage in all this, I'm right, you're wrong, because I'm tired of being wrong, I'm tired of getting thrown around. Okay, I'm here to tell you right now, okay, one of the biggest lessons I learned, probably my top lesson I have learned, okay, because it didn't always be that way. And probably could have saved some moments in my life had I learned this specific lesson I'm about to tell you guys right now. If you ever feel like arguing, don't. It's not worth it. Okay? I'm not saying that if your opinion needs to be expressed and they're not understanding your opinion, I'm not saying argue. Okay? What I'm saying is, if you two have disagreements, okay, and they just want their opinion to be right, you want your opinion to be right, the only solution, let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. If you have a disagreement, they have a disagreement, the only solution is to fight and fight and fight and fight. Where does that go? It goes nowhere. I don't know about you, but every fight that I've ever had, and even every fight I've seen, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I watch all of y'all's Facebooks. I scroll. Okay? I may not be talking, but I do scroll. Okay? So you know what I see? And what part of that thread, what part of that message, what part of that conversation, that situation, that occasion, was there a clear winner between both of those points? Probably wasn't one, right? So where did that get you? Nowhere. Do you want to keep going on in life with no direction after having had bickered all the time? No. Okay? If they're not understanding you, there's a way to argue, but to just flat out argue with no intention of understanding your partner or your other person, all right? That's why you gotta stop, all right? That is why you gotta say, hey, look, okay, this person, this idea, this gift, this blessing, okay, that is why you gotta stop and really ask yourself. Now, this is another pill that a lot of you guys are gonna be difficult in trying to swallow. This is probably the biggest pill that nobody likes to swallow at all, ever. Okay? If this person and this thing or idea, even the spirit in you, okay, if it's worth losing, then argue. But if you love that thing, that person, that connection, that bond, like the Gorilla Glue, that it's not coming apart, and you want that forever, I'm telling you guys, don't argue. Grab your tools, okay? And sometimes it can be a car, sometimes it can be a song, sometimes it can be a movie, sometimes it can be even as simple as a phone call, okay? But use it. Use it properly. I can't tell you how many arguments I've had in the last 4 months, alright? They could have gone a lot differently if I had of just argued just because I was wanting to make the other person know that I'm right and I'm not to be degraded or fallen or wrong or anything. Now, there were some times when I wanted to bite my tongue, but it wasn't because I wanted to be that right person. It wasn't because I wanted to be that best person, that the one that wins all that argument right there. Okay? It was because I felt as though my voice within that opposition of that argument was not being heard. Okay? For example, and you guys gotta bear with me, and I appreciate you guys staying up with me and following this, because this is a long movie, I'm sorry. At some point, I was in an argument with somebody, and I had to hold my tongue. I mean, we're talking like line after line after line after line after line. It was almost like they were ripping me a new one. I mean, it was just insane. Now, to any person, that can really destroy you mentally, okay? Oh, did you just now get out? I didn't mean to, drag you into all this, but I'm really glad that you're joining me. I appreciate that. Anyway, so it was thread after thread after thread after thread after thread. And then I collected myself. I put my hand on my Bible. I opened it up. And I poked myself right into that point, right in the Bible, where I remembered, slow to speak, slow to anger. Okay, and it wasn't just that one verse. There's many verses in there, okay? But what I'm getting at there and here is when you are in argument, sometimes it's a transparent message, okay? That argument you're having is really the other person telling you, look, I'm broken. I'm like a broken toy. I'm a broken controller. I'm a broken remote. I'm a broken, fork, a broken spoon. I'm a broken, plate or whatever. What have you, okay? And you gotta interpret that message properly, because if you do, that argument will turn into an apology. Now, if the other person does not apologize, there's your answer. Walk out the door. You know why? Because you deserve better. Because you don't deserve to be degraded, humiliated, destroyed for no reason. But if that person walks back in themselves, I'm going to repeat that, themselves, and apologizes for what went down, for what happened, for their actions, and for the lack of understanding between the two of you, then they're really giving you that clear sign, look, I value us. I value what we have. I want this forever. I want this to be complete. But we just don't see eye to eye right now, okay? Doesn't mean it's going to be forever. It's going to be eternal. Just right now, look, I know we're arguing. I need you to be there for me. I need you to be there with me. It's almost like they're saying, come here, love, give me a hug, or come here, give me a kiss, all right? Now, in every situation like that, I'm not telling you guys to go run up and kiss them, all right? Because sometimes that might be awkward. Random, argument. It's not supposed to be, a kissable moment. Like, don't do it. No. So, yeah. If you feel like arguing, don't. It's not worth it. Alright? Just to be the winner of that moment. If you want to win that moment, you've lost a blessing. If you want to keep that blessing, remove the moment. Okay? Just forget about it. Let it go. Alright? Now, by letting it go, don't let it fester. But just keep at letting them know it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Alright? Because eventually, you're going to be on the other side. You're going to be the one breaking down. You're going to be the one in tears. You're going to be the one upset. Now, where are they going to be? They're going to be in your position. It'll be fine, I promise. Tell them that they've been okay. Tell them that, look where you are. You've gone so far. You've got a good heart. You've got all the tools that you need to be a great person. There's a lot of ways to approach the solution, but a lot of people just fight, and they think that's the only solution, and it's not. And that's why a lot of relationships go down in the toilet. Goodbye. I can't help but wonder if a lot of marriages could have been saved, a lot of divorces could have been stopped, a lot of breakups could have been non-existent if they'd have just gone through that one motion, you know. But sometimes it's gonna be your blessing to tell you, hey, this was my lesson for this year. You know, I gotta learn that maybe this person's not for me. You know, and that's the hard pill to swallow too. Not every battles will be winnable. Again, there it is, you know, peeking out from you. And you gotta listen to your intuition, okay? The second one I want to go to kind of is more for the younger crowd, really kind of jumping into the dating game slash more than just dating game. And that is, as a young kid, we go through chores and we got to do chores, all right? And we're told to do them because we have to do them, all right? You got to make your bed because it looks good. You got to brush your teeth because that's what you're supposed to do. You know, you got to take a shower because you got to be clean. You got to do the dishes because I don't want a messy table. You got to clean your room because you don't want to come into a dirty room, all right? Now, believe it or not, those were actually some advice tips when you grow up later on in life. You got to clean your room because what if you bring a date on home and they walk in and they see your room is disaster? Remember what people have always told you? A good impression is only on the first try. Would you really want her or him to know you're not really all that clean? You're just kind of a mess? Not about you, but not me. Okay? Setting a table. Okay? If the food is done cooking, does it make sense to set all the stuff that you need to cook while it's hot and it's cooling down? You'll have cold food, right? So therefore, you gotta prepare the table so when it's done, it just goes on the table, goes on your plate, and you eat, right? So by doing these chores, all right, what you're doing is you're telling your other partner, your other half, your family, your friends, hey, look, stop. I get that you're cooking. I get that you're all jammed up. I get that you're trying to provide me a blessing, something that we all may not have the fortune of having. And you're working your toot off for it, all right, to provide it for me. I got this. Let me go ahead and set up the table for you. Let me go ahead and put the plates out, the forks and the knives and the cups and the napkins and the salt, the pepper, you know, what have you. That way, they don't have to think about that and have that done while they're cooking their supper, whatever they're doing, right? You know, if, you know, doesn't really necessarily have to be food related. You know, if your partner, your friend wants to put on a movie, they're going to grab the movie and get it all ready, prepared, you know, and you guys want to grab something to drink, offer them hot cocoa. You know, it's like saying, hey, look, you're doing this nice thing for me? Hey, look, I got you. You know, may not be doing the same action as them, but that small action, hey, you want some cocoa? I'll fix you a glass right now, you know. It means I'm thinking of you. It means, look, we'll have some good time together, you know. You got me, I got you. You know, and that was one of the lessons I had to learn, you know. And just, even growing up, don't do it because they told you to do it. Do it voluntarily. If you don't believe me, don't do anything. Seriously, don't do it. I guarantee you they're going to start complaining that you're not doing that and to start, you know, shaping up and try to be an actual adult. Do you want to believe me? Go do it randomly. Go set the table because you know it's supposed to be set. Pull out the vacuum. Vacuum the carpet. You want to go, you know, get the TV ready? Go take care of it. If your wife or your husband or your partner can't find all their belongings and it's right next to you on the table, don't tell them, hey, it's right next to the table. Pick it up if they're okay with it. pick it up, go walk over to them, be like, here, are you looking for this? Or, look, I got you. I found it right here. It tells them, yo, I'm solving your problem, but what it's really saying to them is, look, again, you got me, I got you, but I got you back even better. Because when you're worried about stuff, when you think about stuff, I've already been a step ahead of you, alright? And the other thing I want to tell you guys about, and this is kind of one of those fine lines between this side and this side, like, don't cross it, don't move it, alright? This is one of those age issues, okay? And one of the things I've learned, if you are on one page and your partner is on the other page, you can still have the same novel, the same book, okay? But if you're on the same page together, reading different sections, alright? Age is just a number, okay? Now, a disclaimer for legal purposes. Yes, they have to be of a certain age to do certain things with that person, okay? And certain milestones with this person, alright? So make sure that you're doing it properly and you're doing it the right way, alright? But once you gain over that threshold, okay, and you start getting into that whole realm of possibilities, okay, you can have someone 10 years older than you. You can have someone 10 years younger than you. You can have someone a year younger, a year older. You could be the same age. But an age just tells you how many days I've been alive. Okay? So, in that regard, if I tell you I'm 32 years, that means I've walked on this planet for 32 years. I'm not really going to pull out a calculator right now because I don't really actually. That would be 11,680 days I've been on this earth. Alright? You would think that at some of those 11,680 days, that'll learn me something, right? Hence why I'm talking to you guys today, okay? And if age is just a number, you guys will fully understand that whole concept, that whole theory, when you start dating somebody that might be out of your age, that might be out of your range, right? Now, true story right now, okay? I used to date people younger than me. I used to date people 3 years younger than me or 2 years younger than me, okay? Now, those people are not bad people. Those people are not terrible people. Those people were just not meant for me in my whole life, okay? People older than me also wanted to try to, date me too, alright? And just recently, I actually started dating somebody that was older than me, okay? And the one thing I learned, that if you're on the same page, the same level, intellectually and spiritually, it doesn't matter if they're 10 years. You guys are going to work, okay? Because if you think that an age is going to stop you from doing certain things, saying certain things, providing certain things, you might be missing out on some pretty cool and awesome relationships, right? And maybe one of those relationships, this is if you believe in that, might be your marriage. One of my goals in my life is to be married, is to have kids, to have a family, So if I just say, oh, I'm not dating anyone older, or I'm not dating anyone my age, or I'm not dating anyone 2 years younger than me, I have taken a list this long and shortened it down to here. And you people that say, I can never find a good person, I can never find a good guy, I can never find a person that really loves me for me. My question to you is, are you looking at a list this big, or did you trim it down this small, and you're trying to find people from that list? Okay? Because you can weed them out from a big list. You just got to find certain things that, I like that in that person, I like this in that person, all right? So, those are some thoughts going into 2019. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video because I know it's been a long time. I don't mean to keep rambling on, but, there's some points I needed you guys to hear and some thoughts I wanted to express to you guys and really just kind of let you know that it wasn't a great year. It was a rather rough roller coaster, 2018, and honestly, 2019's been kind of challenging too, but mentally, I got all my tools, I got all my resources, I'm ready for it. It taught me my lessons to become my blessing, all right? Before I close this one out, I just want to let you guys know, the person that I mentioned over Facebook and, throughout my posts and, months ago, unfortunately, that was my lesson in life to teach me, my blessing, who I just recently discovered, funny enough, from a good friend of mine, that I'd like to provide a wonderful round of applause, and I can't thank him enough. It's wonderful when people really understand you, really get to know you, and can provide you with these blessings. And, if you go through just halting things like that, saying, no, I don't want that, no, I'm not good at that, no, I don't need that, no, I'm good, no, I'm good, no, I don't want that. How can you have people do that for you? It's like they don't want to give it to you because they feel you're not worthy. They're not, able or apt for it. You know what I mean? So, I'd like to let y'all know that I'm pretty happy, Things are going right. And we'll see what happens from here. So, I hope these little tips have really helped you guys open your eyes just a little bit more and make 2019 a better year for you guys, okay? I know I forgot to get into this book, but I'll do that in another video, okay? So I'll go ahead and say, I hope you guys have a wonderful 2019 year, and I hope that you guys get all the blessings you need. I hope that sometimes those blessings come as lessons, so you can walk with your lessons to see and witness what a blessing can be into your life. And I pray that things go well for you and that you have all the answers that you need to be answered in your questions. Alrighty? I love each and every one of you guys. I really want the best for you. If you ever need a hand and a shoulder to lean on, I'm the guy you lean on, alright? I love God. I love Jesus Christ, and I want you guys to have the best life that you possibly can, okay? And so, I will be there. I will be there to be your backbone, alright? But you gotta pick up the ground. You gotta walk on it. You gotta see where your horizon is and just follow it. Trust your gut, alright? I love you guys. I will see you next time, alright? Take care. Bye.